Hey, welcome to Micro Lecture 2 for week 6. See my son in the background playing some Minecraft, getting some little entertainment in after school and work. So what we're going to do on this video is we're going to show you how to sort and filter the data in your table. And we did a little bit of this during that first Excel video when I showed you, a long list of parents or players on a soccer team. But we're going to go through that again. How to sort, how to filter, and then we're going to create a chart. And I'll show you how to choose the data that was in your chart, label it, and make it look nice. Okay, so we are going to back to our Excel spreadsheets, pretty much where we left off. I played a little bit with sorting and filtering in between videos, but it's basically this. Okay, so we want to first just highlight all our data, right? And we're going to go over here to the sort and filter. So here, if we just choose sort ascending, it's going to sort ascending by item number, which is just the first column in the table. It's going to put it in alphabetical order. Okay, so that's kind of the default. And then we could sort ascending, but we could also choose custom sort. Okay, now custom sort, let's see if I can move my screen here so you could see this a little bit better. Okay, so here's custom sort. So we can sort by item, quantity, price, subtotal, tax, total. So it's giving us all of the headers of our table. I want to choose total, and that way the total will show up kind of in order, but this is going from lowest to highest. What I really want to do is go from highest to lowest, so we see the highest sales on top. Okay, so now we have sorted our data, and we make sure that when we do this, we're highlighting all of the data. If we were just to highlight this column here and sort this ascending, it says, wait a second here, you're selecting only a portion of your data. Are you sure you don't want to select the whole table? And if I ignore this warning and say just sort, it only changes this column and not the rest. So it totally screws up the data. Now we don't know what item it really was. So I'm going to use the undo button, right, which is right, well, you can't see it, it's right here, or holding down the control button to hit Z once, and that changes our items back to correctly. Okay, so just make sure that when you're sorting and filtering, you're selecting all of the data. Now, we have sorted and filtered all of the data. Now what I want to do is use the snipping tool. Okay, now the snipping tool is usually, like for me, I pin it to my taskbar. And so I'm just going to click it, and it's opening, but it's opening on a different monitor. You got to remember I have a couple of screens here. So it opens up this little window here and says, "Hey, I'm the snipping tool. What do you want to do?" I'm just going to choose new. Now you can kind of see this. Hopefully the screen grays out, and then it shows my snip. Okay, so here's what I snipped. Okay, so I'm just going to hit save. I'm going to save it in my downloads folder as screenshot week 6 sort. Now, since I already changed the name in my practice, I'm just going to click on that. Screenshot week 6 sort. Hit save. And because I was playing around earlier and I wanted to make sure I was doing the process right here. Okay, so now let's go back to full screen mode here. And again, I'm kind of showing you uh, the kind of the back end of OBS a little bit when I do this. So here is the full screen Excel. Okay, so let's talk now about filtering. So again, I'm going to select all my data, right? Don't worry about the grand total, just everything in the table, okay? Now I'm gonna choose filter over here, filter. And you'll notice immediately that it puts these little arrows on each column, right? It's smart enough to know that we want to filter by column. So for example, if I wanted to filter by column, I could just show, I could take out select all and just put in markers, which is the product that's selling the most, and click apply. And it just shows now markers, okay? And you'll notice now that there's this little blue kind of icon that's not on the other drop downs. That's indicating that this is the column that we sorted with. So I'm going to go back to select all, click apply. Okay, we could do this differently too. We could sort by total, and we could just select the highest total. This is our grand total, which we're going to ignore, and click apply. And again, it's giving us the same output, but we sorted from the totals section. Okay, and so now I can take my screenshot, and I've showed you this so many times that I'm just going to do it. I'm down on my taskbar, the snipping tool comes up, and I am selecting now this little section of my snippet here. Okay, so this is the snipping tool. So now I have my little selection of my filter. Okay, I'm going to choose save, and since I already have a screenshot for week 6 filter and I'm lazy and I don't want to type in the name and everything down here, I can just highlight it and click week 6 filter. I'm replacing another file because that was my practice one. Then I'm going to hit save. It's going to say, you want to replace it? Are you sure? Yes, because I know what I did there. And so now we have our screenshot that we need for filtering. Okay, so let's go back to Excel. I'm going to change this back to select all and apply. Okay, now we're ready to look at charts, but first we need to get rid of the filtering. We just don't want that on there. And so we're going to click sort and filter and click filter again, and it will take off those little tabs. Okay, so we're back to showing all our data. As long as we sorted and filtered, it doesn't matter which order these are in. You can order these or sort these however you want, but we're going to create a table, and we're going to start by selecting all of our data again. Okay, and we're going to choose insert, and I'm just going to choose a column chart, just a basic column chart. Okay, so here it is right here, and then I'll scroll down a little bit. So here's our chart. So it's including all of the data, right? See, it has quantity, price, subtotal, tax, and total. We really don't want all of that data. Most of the time, we might want to see a chart of how many, which item is selling the most quantity-wise, right? Make sure we have enough in stock. Or what's the total sales overall? Or what's the most expensive item? Okay, so right now, we just want to show the items and the total sales. So we're going to ignore all this data, and I'll tell you how to do that. Okay, so right on the chart, if we right click and let's go to data. Okay, now I'm going to move my screen over here and it shows up now, right? Because I right clicked and I chose select data and it shows all the data. Okay, it shows all the data we're using. Now it says we're using all this data. I'm going to select more options and I want to split the data field by columns. Okay, and you'll notice now that this little section popped up. So I can just trash quantity, price, subtotal, and tax. And now my chart only shows the items, and they are even labeled correctly with the item with the items here, and it shows the total in sales. Okay, so now it's showing only what I want. Okay, so I'm going to move this window back over here so we can see, and then let me see, move my chart over here. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to look at the formatting of the table. Okay, we have a chart title, and we're going to call that total sales, and we can call it total sales per product, right, if we want to be exact. Okay, and we can change the position. Yeah, that's right, we want it above. Change the font, that's fine. Okay, then we're going to close that and we see the title change. The legend is fine. The horizontal axis, okay, we want there to be, and this is, you know, a lot of information, we can kind of ignore it. I'll go down to axis title and turn that on. Okay, and now we can put in that access title right here. Okay, and so this now shows up here, okay, in the chart. So we're going to call this items. Okay, and so we can see items. And okay, let's close horizontal axis. Let's open the vertical axis. Let's scroll down to axis title. We're going to turn that on, and we're going to call this axis total sales, or just we'll just call it sales. All right, and then as soon as we click off of it or close the vertical axis here, then it shows up. Now we got sales, total sales per product, total. I really don't need anything else from that that little section over here. So I'm going to close that, and then let me bring this back over so you can see the whole field here. See the table and the product. There we go. Okay, so you can make this table bigger or smaller. I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller so it's the same width as the table. Okay, so we have our table, or our chart we inserted, right? We highlighted our data and we selected insert and we just picked column chart. Then we formatted that chart to show only what we want. Made sure we had the titles, the axis. Okay, so this is our final product. Okay, so make sure that you go File, or for you, right, go up here, and you're going to change this to your name. You're going to call it Martin Tom Week 6 Excel assignment. I hope I spelled that right, probably not. Assignment. Okay, so now we have that on the correct name, and we have everything correct here. Okay, now the only thing that we don't have, remember, we're going to, if we go back to the OneDrive, we have the, let me refresh. Okay, so now it shows my new name. So we have the assignment, but we don't have the 2 screenshots uploaded up here. Okay, so we need to go to plus, file upload. It's not showing the download screen or the file Explorer screen on there, but we're going to choose those 2 or you're going to choose whichever screenshot that you did. If you did a filter or a sort. So I'm just going to do the filter one, and it'll upload it. Now we have the filter one. Okay, so everything's saved to our OneDrive. It's secure. We know where it is. If we lose it later, we can always come back to it. Okay, so we have what we need here, but we don't have this downloaded to our computer in order to upload it to the assignment. I know it's so annoying to have to do that, right? We're uploading and downloading and changing names all the time, and that's because there isn't a very good link, right, between Canvas and OneDrive yet. I'm sure if Microsoft bought Canvas, right, it'd be totally embedded in. And I know they're working on an integration, but for right now, we're downloading and uploading, uploading and downloading. Okay, so in our OneDrive, we're going to click on these 3 dots, and we're just going to say download. Okay. And so if we were now to look in our downloads folder, right, we would see our assignment with the correct name and the screenshot. Okay, those are in our downloads folder. So this is what we would submit, right, to the assignment. Let's see. Not that one. Okay, so this is what we would submit to the assignment. So let's go back one screen here. And so you would come here to the data and charts assignment. You know, this is before I put the video in, so you don't see the video there, but you know, then you'll see kind of the written kind of list of things you need to do. And then you as a student would just click the submit button, and you make sure you upload the Excel file and the screenshot that you took of either a filter or a sort. Okay, so I know we did quite a lot in these videos. Excel is a very powerful application that does a whole lot of things. So, you know, you can re-watch the video, you can pause, you can even, you know, I feel like I'm talking fast and I'm going over this fast, but if I'm too slow for you, in the settings, you can actually speed up the video to be like 1.25 faster. I might sound like a chipmunk or something, but that's an option. So thanks again for watching. Review this video again if you're stuck on your homework, or what I recommend is that you have the video open and then you also have the assignment open. You also, right, you're doing exactly what I'm showing you to do while I'm doing it on the video, you're doing it as well, okay? And that way you can make sure you can do each step. And you can listen to, you know, the first couple of steps, hit pause, and then do that on your computer. Then play, listen to a few more steps, okay, and then do that on your assignment. All right, so it's a great way to do it. So thanks again for watching Micro Lecture 2, And I'm excited for you to learn some more of these cool Excel tips and tricks. Next week, we're going to move right to PowerPoint, I believe. So exciting. Remember, we only have 2 weeks left. Make sure you check your grades. Check any feedback I left for you. If you have any question about grades, then please text me, right? Texts are easier for me to respond to quickly. I'm sure those of you who sent me an email have noticed that it takes a day or 2 or 3 sometimes for me to respond. Now, if you've looked at a comment and you've redone an assignment, I'm not going to grade it till the next Monday. So if you've resubmitted it, don't freak out if it still shows that old score. I haven't graded it again yet, right? Because I only grade on Mondays, right? Otherwise, I'd be grading every day and it'd be crazy. All right. So any questions, please text me, or we can schedule a call or a Zoom. I really want you to reach out if you have questions. Those of you who have reached out, hopefully you've seen that we can resolve any concerns or questions you have. I've even had students send me a picture of their screen and a picture of my video and saying, look, my screen looks different than yours. How do I make mine look like yours? And then I was able to respond with a quick text. This is what you're doing. Here's what you need to do. So please reach out. I really want you to not be frustrated. I'd rather you text me or we can schedule a call or a Zoom and get those concerns resolved, because my priority is getting you through this course successfully. Okay, so thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it, and I will see you next week.